Okay.
Fine.
Fine. So the customized hardware selector needs to be validated within the system context with the real hardware. So different types of emulators in the market. One is a cycle accurate emulators, in cycle accurate simulators, as well as the hybrid. The solution brings our time to eradicate the timing issues. We have a hybrid emulators. That is why the engineers are and the industries are following the hybrid emulations. So what do you mean by hybrid emulation? So a virtual machine is there. We want to model the processor, any processor, whether ARM processor or any other processor, and have the memories. And we have to take the exact octal and port into that processor. That is called as an emulation. So all the ASIC, the FPGA RTL has to be converted to or migrated to ASIC RTL. Then we have to port it to the processor. This has to be fast and accurate, and the performance is very much high. That is only we go for an hybrid emulation. For example, when you have an ARM processor models, so Cortex, uh, new series processors has come in. They are operating on Zing FPGA. Even the Zing FPGA also acts as an emulation that consists of an SoC. So the processor model on the virtual platform just only gives an emulation, and the debugging facility is very less and takes an RTL on the emulator. So RTL plays a role on the emulator, and then the processor model where the emulation debugging function takes place on the virtual platform. That there we don't have any debugging facilities. So it allows the hardware design team to develop, test, and run and debug at high performance speeds. It gives high performance. It works at multi-megahertz speeds before the custom silicon is available. So different companies like Cadence. So we have to admit this one. Okay. Cadence, Synopsys, and Mentor has come out different platforms for their customers. So Cadence and Synopsys more of the same. They work on different customized FPGA cores, FPGA, and those which consist of many verification mode. They use System C transaction models for bringing out the emulations. So here the hardware emulation acts as a tool for in the hybrid emulation, we have virtual prototyping and hardware emulation. So in-circuit emulation takes place and the prototyping inside takes place, and thus we become a emulation. But in hardware emulation, we have high performance and debugging facility and verification environment is very strong in the hybrid emulators. So this is one vertical whether it sits on the hybrid emulation, that is the hardware emulation. It acts as a tool for the hardware software co-verification, where we have to integrate both the hardware and software. So the emulation is nothing but you have a strong debug capabilities. You can use a JTAG probe, or you can use a Lauterbach traces, just like in embedded systems. That will be slow and expensive. If you use a some more complex, then we have in an FPGA some in-circuit on-chip instrumentation tools like ChipScope are there for our debugging facilities. This emulation is different. It requires more time and is much expensive for software developers. Hardware emulation, because it pinpoints only the debugging facilities. Here the hardware emulation, you can see the RTL is being put to a prototyping FPGA board. So it acts as a loop back mechanism to the ASIC RTL is given to the prototype, to the ZBoop server or Cadence prototyping platform or Veloz, that is a Mentor Graphics platform. Here an FPGA is there, where you can see an RTL directly links with your ZB server or Veloz or any prototyping platform. Here you can see a test bench where it can create a simulation and can drives the test bench, and the RTL can drive into the prototyping platform. Next thing, here we can see that lot of system modules, like how the peripherals interact with your FPGA, like all the system modules, your customized video, audio, Ethernet, USB, I2C, MIPI, all interact with your FPGA platform, FPGA prototyping platform, or your emulator. So this is we call as an emulation. You should have an FPGA RTL migrated to an ASIC RTL, then only this comes into play. When you speak on the emulation angle, here how the prototyping differs from emulation. So prototyping, as we know, all of them worked in FPGA prototyping also, or mostly working in SoC emulation also. So here the FPGA prototyping, as you know, from RTL to synthesis, then you port map into the FPGA, the bit stream are finally developed into the FPGA. So the design will work, depends upon the functionality of the RTL. It will work in the NetList. It will work on the FPGA. Thus it performs us accordingly. So it is highest performance software development, as well as Xilinx SDK has come. And here the software, we can also do regressions also. So, but in emulation, it's a best debugging. We have hardware acceleration, software acceleration, as well as system on chip acceleration. The performance in power and timing constraints is very good. So prototyping takes many months, but emulation takes nearly 1 or 2 days to fully integrate multi-million files. That's very more important. So when you see the hybrid emulation, so processor runs on the virtual platform, that is on the system C environment or transactional level modeling, and the rest of the design may be on the RTL. One design, one processor, for example, any processor will run on the virtual platform, that is the simulation type of environment, and the rest of the design, it works on the RTL. The RTL will work on the emulator. Here the virtual machine is based upon a QEMU, that's an open source processor emulator, or a commercial model like an ARM fast model. So you can see when you can see the ARM design start FPGA, you can play with your Vivado 2018.2, where the ARM will provide all the design files. You can entirely port the design, and you can make an ARM level SoC prototyping. This also comes in one type of virtual prototyping. Also, you can download that bitstream into your FPGA and make to enrich your functionality. It runs at 100 to 200 million instructions per second and faster on virtual prototyping. So the hardware emulation and virtual prototyping and the in-circuit emulation together forms the hybrid emulation. So you can see the figure here. The virtual prototyping consists of multiprocessor subsystem, microcontroller units, and security logic, and an LT bus. We have a transition level modeling, loosely tightened adapter, that is loosely tightened bus. This adapter with your USB is connected to your emulator through an AXI master. The AXI high-speed buses, master and slave transistors that interacts with your GPU unit of your design. So your design will be a GPU unit, GPU processor, anything that has a display, maybe a graphic processor. So the emulation and the RTL emulation goes hand in hand to achieve the high-speed benefits, that is achieves simulation acceleration, hardware acceleration. So when you see the transaction level model that consists of system C, in virtual prototyping, without system C also they works. So with fast models from ARM that can accelerate the operating system board bring up, and the software driven testing. The emulation FPGA based prototyping, it speeds up the bring up of new portions of the emulation. For example, when you want to do from the scratch, when a Z board or Zinc board, you are having a RTL design on your FPGA, you have to boot up your USB, everything. You have to, the Xilinx provides certain libraries in the SDK. So you can speak from the processing system to the PL, program processing logic to the processing system. That's the peripherals. Your USB are all peripherals. USB UART. Like that, you can bring up the board. First, you have to initiate your power sequencing. You have to do all power sequencing and live the board. That is, we call as a board bring up activity in FPGA on SoC. Here you can see the emulation systems of the is divided into three things. One is the architecture exploration, and the software early architecture early software driven, and the software development. In the project phases, you can see the project phases. Here, a lot of applications are there: networking, wireless, peripheral, PCI, audio, bus interconnect, storage domain, compute. These are certain applications where it plays a role. And this is an electronic system level. That is co-emulation, the transaction-based co-emulation. Co-emulation can operate at certain operating, that can surround certain operating environment. That is called a co-emulation. So virtual emulations, and you can see synthesize test bench accelerations. And the left side, you can see hardware software core verification methodologies. And here we can see fast SoC hardware software verification model. So ZeBu is a emulation by Synopsys, like Mender Graphics Veloz. So here the architecture exploration, it provides inaccurate cycle. Then we have to make the cycle accurate. We have to fix the timing constraints, make the architecture valid for your SoC. When you go for the early software driven, you have to make use of your virtual prototyping, make use of your system C, transactional modeling, interactions. And in the software development, you have to bring up your board level from the kernel where it boots, that is heart of the OS. Then you have your OS, and you have your software libraries, and top layer you have the application layer. So how the board boot up firmware, hardware, software verification, integration, and boot up all exist on the software development. So in the emulation system. So in the emulation components consist of where HDL acceleration and C acceleration, transaction-based acceleration, and in-circuit emulation. So when you see the HDL acceleration, normally we write by RTL, C by Verilog or VHDL. Nowadays, the Vivado HLS is using C or C++ for HDL acceleration. When you use a C for acceleration, it processes very fast than the Verilog and VHDL. So Verilog and VHDL is a little bit diminishing. So when you see the PC simulator HDL test bench as a PC interface that will connect into the PC as well as the emulation system, where the design under test will be available. What's the design? That's your RTL design is under test. Then you go for acceleration, C acceleration. This is one type of acceleration. When you go for C acceleration, like in HDL test bench, a C test bench will be created that PCI interfaces with the emulation platform. That's a design under test. We have a transaction-based verification. That is a C++ PB PCI interface. So this C acceleration and transaction-based is similar like in Vivado HLS environment. This C acceleration is exactly in Vivado HLS environment. So it uses C interfaces and to port to the emulation platform. Here it uses a C++ interfaces, test benches, and PCI interface acts as a bus to connect with the emulation platform. Here in circuit emulation, Here a target system will be there, like a speed adapter, and we have the emulation platform, what is the design under test. So these are the components where you can emulate. You can go for HDL, you can go for C, you can transaction based as verification or in-circuit emulation. So in the emulation environment, we have ZeBu. ZeBu is one of the Synopsys uh, emulation, and we can see the compilation flow first. So we have the test environment. First, the design. We have an RTL, right? The specification will be given, and you have to write in coding according to your coding guidelines. You have to write your RTL. Then you go for an FPGA synthesis or ASIC synthesis. So if you go for an FPGA level of emulation, you go for an FPGA synthesis. If you go for an SoC level, you go for an ASIC synthesis. Then you go for a DUT, design and test compilation. You go for a P&R will be provided by the tools of the customers, whether it's Xilinx or Ultra or anyone, and you got a DUT configuration files. So when you give that, see here left side, you can see the test environment generation and Xilinx P&R and the different configuration files. Finally, you can able to port out your on the emulation board. Here you can see the cycle-based Verilog, C++, System C, the vectors and transition-based C++ environment. This is Linux, and this PC interface with their ZeBu. The same thing they are portraying in a different manner. So we have then a memory, clock server with a RAM, and we have a reconfigured test bench, the embedded test bench, hardware transactors, and the logic analyzers are dynamic traces. So different types of spectrum analysis, oscilloscope can interact with this for debugging. For multi-million files of RTL, if you want to debug it, you have to connect your emulator to external like oscilloscope, vectors or spectrum analyzer like that. You can do it. And this is a design under test logic emulation resources. So you will have an like an bidirectional in-circuit emulation with the target system. So these are the software debuggers. You can use ARM or a Lauterbach or any, what are the clients customers can give, like Texas Instruments, Trace, debugger, or you can see the waveforms also. That it Verdi, even Synopsys gives Verdis to see the waveform viewers. Here you can see the environment. Here the PC is interfacing with the emulation system. The PC we have display, keyboard, terminal, camera, Ethernet, USB, audio on these files. We develop a transactor C interface, that's an system C, that will interact with your in a bidirectional way with your hardware interface and to the protocol interface, and we have your developed SoC RTL, MMC, multimedia protocols, terminals, cameras, keyboards alike. So this is the way how the software environment can interface with the hardware and the SoC prototype. So your design will be a SoC RTL. It's a big design, your SoC RTL. That will sit on your emulation, and you can do your emulation for cloud computing, big data, like that also you can do IoTs, smart grids. So the cycles will be 2 billion clocks. So we have reset, bootloader, and kernel initialization, virtual memory, 1 billion clocks, and system services, power, PAT, Nestat, Bluetooth, so 1 billion clocks. And these are the user application. These can connect to you can remotely do your prototyping sitting from your home. Also, you can do prototyping with your ZeBu server or any emulation servers. So this is a virtualizer. Virtualizer can be done as like a software development kit. It is called a virtualizer development kit. It consists of a virtualizer, which consists of system bus. We have a process subsystem, DMA, and yes, a transaction level modeling, loosely timed adapter and system interface and memory. This will interact your video transactor and AXI transactions. The AXI transactions can be done through the TLM adapters to the image processing engine. So this is your core RTL design, your functionality. So this is a way how to use the virtualizer. Virtualizer is nothing but yes, virtual software development kit. It consists of your software angle. It consists of a TLM interfaces and system interfaces normally connected to your process of system. Any FPGA you can connect and you can do it. Connect your ZIBU. Here you can see your in-circuit emulation. This IC with adapter cards. We can use multi-user regressions, emulation development kit. Here take the fast accelerations, in-circuit acceleration, gate level accelerations, design for test acceleration, and you have accelerated verification IP. So when you speak on simulation acceleration, what are the simulation accelerations? Whether it's the system C or transaction level modeling, all will be viewed on the waveforms. So the code and the functional coverage merging and the in-circuit accelerations, gate level acceleration, and the design for testing acceleration. This DFT, everything will comes for the ASIC and the SoC, and we have your accelerated verification IP. Here you comes virtualization. We have the hybrids with virtual platforms and test benches and emulation development kits and virtual verification machine. In here we have architecture. We have the hardware and software, the board bring up activities. The hardware can talk with the software, make the peripherals live, the software debugging. After that, then firmware optimization, and you have to operating conditions. You have to verify all these scenarios. We have post silicon ATPG, automatic test pattern generation, BIST, and post silicon validation. You have the power, dynamic power analysis, IEEE. This and UPF. You have to enable all your UPF after the RTL. After writing the Verilog code, you will have the coding guidelines. You have the RTL. Then you have to append your UPF. Then after synthesis also you have to append your UPF. After GLS also 3 levels you have to do your low power formats. You have to do your clock gating strategies. So a lot of steps are there for UPF. Or the Synopsys is using UPF and the Cadence is using the CPF, and you go for low power verification also. So these are the functions they are doing. They are doing the hardware acceleration. They are doing in-circuit emulation, then virtualization, architecture, post-silicon validation, hardware, software booting, that is the integration, and the power. So this is a trace-based debug. This is the emulator. This is an emulator. This is a replay database. So all will be stored here, and you have to debug using Verdi or waveform. You can use also waveform, Verdi or tracer tools. Like so many tools are in the market, like Lauterbach, like that tools are there. You can view the waveform. Here we can see all this in the what's the turnaround time this for architecture exploration. So which architecture can able to suit? Suppose my project is of complex and cannot be able to meet that one. Normally we do in FPGA, we will use the LUTs to store that, or block RAMs, right? So I like that what is the architecture needed to meet the performance and power requirements. The processor, how to select your processor, how to select your GPU, the memory system, interconnect configuration like AXI, APB, cache coherence, global interrupts, and power management system, and what are design methodology, what are the traffic models, transactional models, what is a hybrid simulation for that. Then you go for the hybrid software integration. So we'll be knowing about OS integration, Linux. Most of the people are using Linux as of secure purposes. How to do device driver activities, and how to virtualization, how to do for software integration, how to increase the performance and optimize it. What are tools here like debuggers, transaction level models, system C virtual types, what are different prototypes, FPGA prototyping tools like even Vivados used performance visualization. And here when you come for functional verification, the prototype, thus the design meetly the performance and power requirements. Here the prototype protocol compliance, the USB compliance or any compliance is there, interconnect bus width and latency, cache coherency, signal, this is data integrity, the power and clock domain. Suppose you are having asynchronous clock domain, you have to fix the asynchronous clock domain inside the entire SOC. You have to meet the meta stability setup hold violations. You have to make an analysis and fix the CDC issues. And the decent technology, the traffic models, verification IP, system monitor, performance visualization. So the system validation, we have the graphics, video, audio, browser applications for gesture recognition, phone functions, camera. This is for gesture recognition and phone functions, camera. Even Wi-Fi can be used for taking in remote also you can make it. FPGA prototypes, hardware acceleration, simulation, hybrid simulation, verification, transaction level. So have you gone? Can you able to catch my point? How does this FPGA uh, emulation, FPGA prototyping varies from hybrid emulation? Hello.
Hello.
Can all of them can catch it? Catch my point?
Yeah, I think it's okay. I think like no queries have come till
Okay.
now. Yeah. They have already told us. Some people have told yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
You can continue.
Yeah. So here, so virtual and hybrid emulation, early hard FPGA hardware software debugging. Here one type you can see the IP subsystem and bare metal. Bare metal we can see there is a no software there, but we have to write everything from the scratch, the standalone system like, and we have the OS and drivers and the applications on the top layer. So we have to develop the software with the hardware, and you have to integrate the hardware and software and make the live of your all your peripherals, USB, UART, I2C, SPI, and DM, DDR3, PCI, like that, SATA, all hardware which is interfaced to your SOC or your soft or your FPGA. So that is the biggest challenge, software broad bring up activity. So normally the FPGA engineers will sit with their embedded engineers and coordinate and do all these functions. So time and effort is to takes much to bring such activities. So the time to bring up the emulation model, time to boot the OS, and time to bring up the FPGA prototype. So there is a need for a FPGA board bring up activity for each RTL, and small FPGA boards like you can see in the Z Zinc boards, you have to do a lot of stuff in your board bringing activity. For the USB board, USB peripheral speak to your processing system. Let's say you create one block diagram, and that process system, that is Zinc process system, that the peripherals, what are the peripherals around the Zinc process system that you are through the AX interconnect bus, the peripherals can able to talk. You have to make a facility, for example. So you can see challenges, and here you can see 1 or 2 days per iteration. Normally in FPGA, we take multiple in a traditional FPGA flow. When you have an ASIC RTL, when you migrate it, also we edit the RTL. You have many debugging, verification error also there. Then you go for prototyping, synthesis, placement, routing, everything. Finally, you give an bit stream. So if it, so when you go for an, it goes for multiple iterations. When you go for an emulation like activity, like a hybrid emulation, you can see an ASIC RTL, and you can see like a compiling engine. You say a remembering compiler. So ASIC RTL, FPGA RTL has to be ported to an ASIC RTL. That guidelines you have to do it. Then you come with the this engine, compile engine. We have a compare memory compiler, HDL for fast compiling, debug inserter, and with the board file, we have the partitioning, and you have to root that board, and you have finally you have the P&R. That is provide P&R tool is given by the Xilinx or Ultra, any Lattice or anything, or Aldec. Aldec also doing FPGA this one hybrid emulation and debug inserter, and different types of rules has to be followed for the partitioning. And we have the FPGA bit files for debugging the probes and trigger conditions. We will probe it through external instrumentation like oscilloscope, spectral analyzer, or vector signal analyzer, like that. So each, so one also we have to do your broad bring up activities also. Thus it, so it takes in months ordinary prototyping big files. But a complex design, it takes in days only. So the time is a bottleneck. We can improve and performance hardware acceleration fast. When you see a SDSOC tool, how the FPGA performs, it's because they use C++, it is more faster. We can tell it is one of the example for that hardware emulation, not an hybrid emulation, the hardware emulation. And here we can see different benefits for its software, that is software verification tips and SOC architecture. There is an, you can able to see as an RTL in a high performance. You can use time driven mechanisms to support their architecture. That's a cycle accurate manner. You can use time or loose time synchronization between the virtual prototyping and the emulator to make speed. Virtual prototype nothing but your start use of no debugging facilities. You take off transaction level modeling, system C interfaces to do debugging activities in software level. And emulator use of RTL on the emulation. So there is some speed and accuracy trade-offs. So emulator replaces the lacking virtual models. Here in the virtual platforms, we doesn't have, it replaces certain models unavailable in, even without the RTL code, you can, even with the design also, you can start the hybrid emulation. That's the biggest advantages of this. Co-emulation means you can take advantage of the operating conditions. The emulation ensures real hardware accuracy. The emulator is much faster than this one. Faster, it operates as 2 megahertz ZIBU. So virtual platforms are used on system C simulation kernel and use a transaction level modeling as a interface to interconnect the simulated models. Here you can see the emulation prototyping usage in industries. So post silicon debug, system validation, software development, hardware software design verification, IP development. You can see which is the blue color. You can see the FPGA prototyping, and the green color is the FPGA emulation. So all this architecture level, software level, IP development level, hardware software, that is a board bringing activities, system validation, post silicon debug, all emulation. Even verification engineers use post silicon validation, use emulations. FPGA designers use emulations for their multi-million RTL to reach and rich functionality on your designs. So there's a different challenges. They have a divide and conquer, that you have to simulate each block and then debugging. So complexity, the performance and power, million cycles are being recorded. You cannot able to store all these cycles. Okay, if you find any error, it is very difficult to find which the root cause of the error. So emulators are classed like servers with the prototyping hardware. So running the hardware and simulation, and you have to boot it and bringing a. This is one of the advantages running a software and emulation and bringing in Wi-Fi connection, make billions of instructions. So you can rerun from any DUT checkpoints. Like then Vivodo tools gives a DCP, where you have the checkpoint will be developed. From that we can rerun it. We can use the existing system already developed and use that one. We does not want to begin from the scratch. So this one things we can able to save. The time saving effort is there. So it can save billions of cycles to be recorded. So hybrid emulation is expanding its hardware and software as more tightly integrated. So it's an important method for most 40 nanometer association processors. There's a special simulators like ANSYS also stimulate from full devices to smart grids and cities. So ANSYS is a simulation tool. Normally they this aerospace as well as this mechanical thermal guys use this tool for their CAD facilities, and they nowadays they are using for smart grids. They have released one tool called Red Hack, Power Hack. Here the Red Power Hack can be used along with these emulators for low power verification. So you can see this applications edge to cloud and 5G, specialized SOC, artificial intelligence, parallel and distributed, full flow solutions and deep learning. So you have to go for a hybrid starting from the virtual one. Any doubts? Any questions? Hello?
Hello. Till now, no questions were posted in the chat box. If anybody is having a question, you can just ask. Any participants can unmute and just ask the question.
Okay.
Nobody has till now put any question in the chat box.
Okay.
A feedback form is attached in the chat box. Participants can fill the form. All participants are requested to fill the form. Shabira miss?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Okay.
One question is that Shabira miss, just check it. In chat box, it is one question is there. Shall I read it?
Sir, what is the simulation toolbox used in ANSYS for smart grid simulation?
Yeah, that is ANSYS. ANSYS
Yes.
is a tool being used by the mechanical guys for aerospace also. Nowadays, they are used for a low power simulation tool that can integrate with the emulation, hybrid emulation. It's a power analysis tool called Red Hack. It's just like a simulation. It is used for low power verification. It's called a Red Hack. The tool is called Red Hack from ANSYS. It is used for low power verification. You can do your low power analysis. So low power is very important in SOC. So when you insert a clock also, the low power low power issues come to play. When you have a 100 ms clock or 200 ms clock, there is having a meta stability, then you will insert your clock. At that time, there's a low power also comes into play. So in order to use that, you have to insert your UPF or CPF. At that time, you will use these two for low power verification.
Participants, any more doubt?
Smart GITs that normally we use for connecting different GITs, like, and any doubts? There are three enemy. I will tell one: Zebu server, as well as Veloz and Palladium. Palladium from Cadence. These are the three in industrial market. So they do ASIC prototyping and SOC prototyping also, emulation. Hybrid emulations being evolved from that one. You can do hybrid emulation also.
Any
Okay.
more questions?
I think there is no more questions. Participants, the feedback form is given and you can fill it. Sir, shall we conclude?
Yeah. You can wind up.
Okay.
Yes. Thank you so much.
Okay, so the session was very good, although also there was a starting trouble because of the mic problem and all, but later on it went very well. So first of all, I thank Samvat sir for the talk on challenges and trends in hybrid emulation. And on behalf of IEEE MSS, I thank all the participants for the participation in this webinar, and we'll continue this webinar next all the Thursdays. So I expect all of you in the coming webinars also. So thank you, sir, and thank you all the participants.
Thank you, madam. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Sir, okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you. Okay, so giving a wonderful section. We've been paced by your talk. So we'll hope we'll be in touch later on. Later part, this webinar is continuing. So in later section also, we may ask you for some more advanced topics. Okay.
Yes, sure,
so
sir.
hope you'll cooperate with us.
Yes, sure, sir.
Okay. Thank you. I'll be in touch with you, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Participants, please fill the feedback forms.
Yes, to me. Kadaka. இங்க இருக்கேன் நீ காலையில இலவசம் இந்த வெக்க இருந்தா கர்நாடகா ரெசப்ட்
Ramesh, okay, thank you.
Hello, thank you.
Mm-hmm.